Hey Retro, you mentioned last video you have a couple of 1 of 18 scale cars to unbox. Since we are up early before work, I wouldn't mind checking out that old AAR CUDA. The orange one we haven't checked out yet.
Yeah, we might be able to arrange something like that. We check out the old ones as well because we don't discriminate.
Hey Retro, don't forget to deal with that pizza chit from the comments on the last video. What a weirdo he was. I think we need to send him hooked on phonics.
I wasn't gonna commando, but you know what? I got toothpaste? No. I wasn't going to commando, but it's probably a good idea just because it's not only is it our second ever troll comment ever on the channel, because we usually get positive comments, but there is something behind it, and I'll explain that at the end of the video. But he kind of spit some misinformation on my wall, so I'm going to correct him on that. I'm going to educate him a little bit, and then I'm going to issue a challenge to him. But anyway, let's get into this. So, oh, by the way, before we get into this, actually, I could tell you guys that in a second while I'm unboxing this. So this is a AAR CUDA, guys. In 1970, Ertl made a crap ton of 118 CUDAs. A crap ton, guys. I've unboxed a crap ton of them. If you think I might have unboxed this before, I definitely haven't. I think I unboxed a orange one with a black roof. Like, they make so many different color combinations of these guys and everything else. But this one we haven't done yet. And it's got the orange roof. And this is from way back, 1995, guys. So 30 years old, vintage diecast. And look at the condition of that box. 30-year-old vintage diecast. So I will read you guys the back. During the 60s and early 70s, competition among America's auto manufacturers for the growing youth market was fierce. Chrysler, known for being aggressive in the market, produced some of the most exotic and clever autos of this rebellious era. Chrysler product planners, engineers, and designers offered top-notch performance vehicles that, along with wild and imaginative ad campaigns, had kids from both coasts and everywhere in between turning their heads in awe when a Mopar cruised down the local strip. In 1970, Chrysler's hard work paid off with one of the most impressive muscle cars of all time, the completely redesigned Plymouth CUDA. Remember, it was the Barracuda before that? CUDA, the street name for the Barracuda, was adopted by Plymouth in 1970, and finally a name lived up to its performance and image of this tough-as-nails pony car. 1970 saw the production of AAR CUDAs. That's a misspell. The AAR CUDA was designed as closely as possible. The car is built by Dan Gurney and his team, American Racers for Trans Am Racing. That's weird. It's sporting a flat black fiberglass hood, black strobe strips that ran the length of the car, and huge G60 by 15 rear tires. Under the skin of the car was equipped with components performance-minded buyers were looking for. In all, the AAR CUDA was the wildest appearing and best handling CUDA ever built, and today, if in good condition, an AAR CUDA is worth much more than its original sticker price. And this was in 1990. They were saying that in 1995, and I believe that might have been before Barrett Jackson auction came around, and all those auctions just hammering the prices up. So now it's even worse. But yeah, Mopar vintage diecast, we love that. We're gonna get into that. And by the way, something I was going to mention that I'm going to mention now while I've got my hands full here. Earlier I was online looking for pictures of these cars. And I came across some pictures on eBay. And I'm looking and I'm like, holy crap, they all looked like the same picture. And it was one vintage car after another that was Looked like it just came out of a factory box, guys. It looked like new old stock, like so mint, okay? And he's got them one after another, and it's on eBay. And I look, and the buddy's from Canada, okay? And I'm looking at his prices, and they're not eBay prices. Like, it's like really good prices, like marketplace, like reasonable marketplace prices. So I'm gonna put a link to that eBay, to the seller's items in the comments here, because not only is it vintage stuff that is just dead, like looks like it came out of the crate today, but it's all reasonably priced, and some of it's harder to get. Had a little speck of something. Well, I had some dusties get in here, so I'll definitely wipe that down. Again, if you're getting some of this old vintage diecast, guys, you may as well pay a couple dollars extra if it costs a couple dollars extra, and get mint box. That way, if you get a beat up one for 80 bucks and later you see one for 100 bucks with a mint box, you're not like kicking yourself, you know what I mean? And this might be another car, the second ever car that's got a weird windshield. But I'll show you guys that in a second here. Just had to get our little stubby guys. So it's got the flathead in it. I would bet that it's going to be flathead screws because they started out with flatheads and then switched. Flathead screws. And then they switched to Phillips a little bit later on. But the older ones here actually have flathead screws with washers holding them in. And only 2 screws. Put some ratcheting action on it maybe. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. The ODA video, guys. Oh my goodness. So I was wondering when I did that. I know a lot of you mentioned that you enjoy going on road trips, cruise alongs with me, stuff like that. When I seen the length of it, I was a bit nervous, I'll be honest. I said, is that going to be too long for them? Are they going to get bored by it? That has hit over 400 views in a day. In one day. Like, that's smashing. You know, like, it's not the best video I've done, but it's up there for almost an hour video, guys. That's really good. And it's not people starting the video and bailing out of it, because I could see that too. Like, you could see everything right down, and yeah, they're actually staying and watching the video. So that one I did well. I was wondering about that. Is it too long? Am I talking too much? Am I boring them? I don't want to bore you guys, so it won't hurt my feelings if you let me know that. Okay. This guy giving us a hard time. There we go. Yep, got up early today. Again, go to the washroom and just stayed up. But today I've had a lot of rest. So last night, Sunday night, I went to bed early. I needed it because I started feeling the effects again later on in the day. I was still wore out. Like, I was so drained. And part of it's the heat. Okay. Quit screwing me around, guy. Okay, there we go. So again, guys, I use gloves to prevent fingerprints. Some people believe that oils in your hands will damage the paint and that, and they could be right. I know plastic straps damage the paint, and that's why we don't leave them on there. But I know myself, whether the stuff on your hands is true or not, I know myself that I will leave fingerprints all over this. And guys, the front windshield of this, we had another one like this recently, is orangish. Orangey. That's very weird. That might be the sun. That's weird because usually I don't. This is the second car I've seen with a yellow window. The only other car I've seen with a weird windows is Burnout. You guys know which one that one is. It's Shelby Collectibles. It's our Burnout Mustang. All the windows melted out in the Mustang, but the window on the box was fine. All the other plastic was fine. Only the windows. Okay guys, the only reason I'm going to address this is because it had some misinformation in there. I don't want anybody getting the wrong idea. This person didn't know what he was talking about, and you guys are going to see that. So on the ODA video, I got my second ever rude comment, and I think that's pretty good out of all this time, okay? I got my second ever rude comment, and if the guy's watching, what does that say about you? If out of thousands of comments, you and some other dickhead are the only ones, you know what I mean? But the comment basically said, what he said to me didn't bother me, okay? Because it's bullshit, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But he basically said on the ODA video, and it's somebody that watches my videos. He didn't just come across the video, it's somebody that watches because he knows my stance on scamming people, ripping people off, scalping, right? I have a very strong stance. In fact, I'm not positive, but when you go to post in ODA, it has to be approved before the post will go through. I'm 90% sure that was put there because of me. Because a few years ago, I got really pissed off about the whole ripping each other off situation and it's gas in time and all that bullshit. I wrote a big long thing right on the wall in ODA for everybody to see because that's how I roll, you know what I mean? And I said, this is a hobby. It's not, like if you're in it to make money and just ripping people off, you're a goof. And all you guys, like you all talk about scalping, but a lot of you guys that are complaining about it are doing it, you know what I mean? But I was pretty pointy, pretty nasty about it, and I'm pretty sure I said at the end, if anybody has a problem with what I just said, you know where I'm at, you know what I mean? And after that, there was stuff, like I'm very straightforward about this stuff, and I don't hide behind the internet, okay? Like anything I say on here on Facebook, I would say it to the person. So this person says basically that because I went to the ODA show, so he says your views, you're always talking about nothing's in the stores and everything's so hard to get in the stores, but then you go to that show and you're supporting scalping, he says to me. First off, do you know what scalping is? You don't, I don't think, because if you've seen what I bought, I'm pretty sure that these from 2000, I'm pretty sure they're no longer in the stores. Like, I'm pretty sure I can't get that at Walmart. And if you watch my past videos, you know that ODA is the only straight diecast show I will go to. There's another one that I might go to meet somebody outside to pick something up if we have a deal going. Or I'll go inside and do the deal and leave. I don't stick around. I'm not naming it because I don't like bashing. But ODA is the only show I go to because their vendors are the best. They're the most reasonable. It's not a bunch of people I see running around Walmart acting like goose and then selling the stuff. Like, it's people that are ordering from the diecast manufacturers. They will place an order. They do pre-orders. Like you see the stuff Dave sells, he got stuff from Las Vegas and everything. Like none of Dave's stuff is from Walmart, you know what I mean? Like basically, I'm not saying all of it is ordered, guys. Some of those guys, if they see something in Walmart, they'll grab it, you know what I mean? I might not agree with that, because the way I see it is if something is in the store, it shouldn't be resold until it's out of production. Like wait a couple months and have at it, you know what I mean? But I don't like the control of the stock in the stores. Like basically he was blaming me for something that I battle. And I think a lot of these guys, when they lash out like that, with any addiction, guys, and not everybody is addicted in the hobby, like the dope thing in the brain like I talk about, I'd say it's about 3 out of 10 that have that. And the reason I know they have that is I used to have it. I had it for dope. If I was going to score dope, I'd be like I was on fire, sweating, everything else, moving quick, talking quick. And that's how they act when they're walking in, if there's anything fresh, or even if they think there is. They look like they're going to score dope. And I know the look, you know what I mean? And I know how they act and stuff because I was there. And to be honest, guys, I slowed my own hunting down because I started noticing I was getting like that. Like, I think what stopped me from hunting was there was one day there was a skid there with a bunch of stuff on it, and it crossed my mind to rip into it because I looked for a worker and there was nobody there. And I said, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, you're turning into these guys. Like, because I was in the stores all the time, guys. I was hardcore, you know what I mean? But I recognized it. But my addiction wasn't for the money. It was the chemical in my brain for finding stuff. You know what I mean? Like, these guys, it's for the money. On me, it was that thing going off, woo, you just found something, you're the first guy to find it, whatever, right? Never anything with money. But with a lot of these guys, I think they lash out and they're lashing out at the wrong person. I'll give you an example. I think that they're getting their asses kicked in the stores. They're either one of those my store sucks type of guy and they won't put any effort in, they're lazy. Nobody's store sucks worse than mine, I don't think. Like, before the stuff even hits the store, it's been tampered with, you know what I mean? And then I've got a bunch of shitheads, like we have a big concentration in this town of the people with the thing in their brain that they think it's crack, you know what I mean? 30-year-olds climbing up store shelves and everything else. Like, Hamilton's got a big concentration. But you guys never hear me, you hear me joke, like I made the Centennial Night Scalper into a joke, you know what I mean? But you never hear me say, I'm not going to bother, my store sucks. No, because that attitude sucks, you know what I mean? I tell anybody that gets into hunting, because some of these guys will get into hunting, they'll check the store once or twice, and they'll be like, okay, I checked, it's not there. I'm like, I'll be honest with you, dude, I'm going to be black and white. If you cannot handle walking into the store 10 or 15 times and there's nothing there, this isn't for you. You know what I mean? Because it's hunting. Hunting is not always finding, okay? But they get frustrated because they're not getting what they want. And some of them get like babies. And I'll give you an example. I've been lashed out at more than once, and people have jumped on the lashers and said, you realize this guy helps everyone, right? Like, he's the area anti-scalper, you know what I mean? But one time I was there, I lined up at Wally in the morning, and they open up one door before they open the other door. They open up the food side. All the regulars know that. So we line up at the food side, okay? So me and my friend, the mechanic, lined up. I have a witness. We lined up at the food side, and we went in. And they had a bunch of boulevards there, and we cleaned up. And I had set for Giuliano. I had a set for Dave. None of my stuff I sell for retail. I hook my friends up. I don't make a dime, okay? Spend my own gas, my own time, just to help the hobby, right? I would do it to this dickhead in the comments. That's what he's not understanding. Like, if he came to me and said, I live in your area, I need help, I would help him. You know what I mean? But he doesn't get it. But yeah, so I helped out all my friends, and my friend had a set for him and a set for another guy because he's doing the same thing. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes around the corner. 5 minutes later, it's somebody that's not a regular. They've went to the other door. They don't know. And they start looking around, and they're looking at us, and we're loaded with everything, right? But unfortunately, usually I would hand some over, but I've already messaged my friends. Like, I'm not going to say, Giuliano, I can't give you your set. I gave it to a stranger. Like, they were all spoken for, right? The person says to me, do you sell? Are you selling any of that? Because I think it was something that they wanted. I said, oh, I don't scalp. I said, I'm sorry. I said, these are for friends. I said, when I give them to my friends, I don't scalp them to them. Like, I give them for what I pay, and we have an old boy system is what we call it. I help you, you see something I need, you help me back. That's how we do it. We don't charge. I said, I wish I could help you, but they're all spoken for. And she says, okay, thank you. And then the next thing I knew, I was, no, don't get me wrong, she probably thought that I did do it because she was wondering how the heck I got in the store, right? But I don't think it should have been posted in ODA unless you knew for sure. But next thing you know, somebody tags me because they knew it was me at the store because I go there every day. They see, because the person said, I went to Centennial and I got there. And so this big guy described me, broke into the store, broke in to get in ahead of us to get all the Hot Wheels. Went into ODA and said that, and this is an adult, you know what I mean? Said that I burglarized Walmart to get in 2 minutes ahead of them to go get the toys. And I said, you guys are unreal. Like, you guys are fucking nuts. Like, these are toy cars, you know what I mean? Like, the way people act, like, it reminds me of the dope world so much, guys. It's crazy. And like I said, they all talk about scalping, but then I see them doing it themselves. You know what I mean? Like, if they find something, like, I'll have one of them messaging me crying how he can never find anything. And then a week later, he gets lucky, finds 3 super treasure hunts. He doesn't keep one and give 2 to his buddies for cost. Hell no, they're worth 60, 70 bucks each. Can't do that, you know what I mean? So yeah, you really have to know what scalping is. And I'll give you an example. That Back to the Future truck I just bought, it's out of production right now. Next month, if I list it for $1,000 on Marketplace, am I a scalper? No, because it's no longer in production. And I'm not running around acting like a goof to get it. Like, I didn't purposely order 10 of them, you know what I mean? Like, no. Scalping is there's more to it than you think. Like, you're controlling the market, you're controlling stock in the stores. Like, it's not just selling something, you know what I mean? And it shows that the person doesn't know what they're talking about if they think that's from 2000 actually, 25-year-old piece of diecast. If I'm supporting scalpers because I bought that for $18, then I guess I do. But I think you need to look up the definition, and I think that if you're having trouble finding stuff, instead of lashing out, you'll get a better result. Because had you asked me if you live in my area, I'd totally hook you up. Even if I don't find it, all I got to do is shoot out a message to a bunch of people, say I'm looking for this, and within a day I'll get it for retail, you know what I mean? Because I've helped so many people. Like, I don't have trouble. Like, even if I don't find anything for the next month, like when I was off for my ankle not hunting, I had no wants for anything because the people I took care of me. And that's why I do it the way I do it. Sometimes friendship's better than money. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. I just had to address it, and I wanted to be totally clear about it in case anybody else is wondering why I would be at a diecast show. I'm at a diecast show because it's the best one in the area, the most reasonable prices. I'm looking for deals, and I want to show you guys cool stuff. So if that makes me a scalper supporter, so be it, I guess. One last thing. If the person that left that comment or anybody else has anything to say, instead of doing it on the internet behind a keyboard, if you live in my area, you can shoot me a message, come see me, or on Saturday, every Saturday I do a live at 10 p.m. Come confront me. I will send you a link and let you confront me on video. But there's one catch. You got to show your face. We got to see who you are. That's it. No hiding. So there you go. If you want to say anything back, if you want to retort that, anything like that, you know where to find me. But don't do it like a coward. Come on. Oh, the other thing before I go, my video sucked and I babble too much. Well, it's the best number video I've ever gotten. I went to bed last night. It had 500 views. 6 hours later, it's at 800 views. Are those numbers lying? I think that the majority isn't wrong, my friend. I think that you're the one that's different than everybody else. And that's not an insult, but you just do you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much once again for tuning in. And thanks for all the support lately. That ODA video, like I just showed you, I was going to show you anyway because I cannot believe. I thought it might have been too long because I know some people don't like it too long. But then again, I get a bunch of messages saying people enjoy the road trips and enjoy my stories. So I wouldn't stop that just for one dickhead. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Do me a favor and smash this. makes me know I'm doing the right thing, motivates me to keep pumping the videos out there, and it helps me keep finding all the Centennial Night Scalper stuff. So make sure you press like. While you're at it, hit that bell notification. That way you know when I'm going live or when my most recent video comes down the pipe at you. As always, guys, the most important thing, stay safe and happy hunting.